Ready?
Suzuka, 2026. Lewis Hamilton steps out of the garage, not with frustration in his eyes, but with a bowling ball in his hands. He lines up. Fred Vasseur watches. Hamilton doesn't even look at the pins. He rolls. Strike. No look, full confidence. The crowd erupts. It was a joke, it was fun, but it told you everything about where Lewis Hamilton's head is in 2026. Because 12 months ago, this man went an entire season without a single podium, without a smile, without a moment like this. So the question is, what changed? And is Ferrari actually ready to beat Mercedes, or is the gap still too wide to cross? Before we get to the drama, stop for a second, because the man who just confirmed Ferrari's biggest weapon is the driver trying to stop them. Kimi Antonelli, Mercedes, speaking to Sky Sport F1 Italy. He didn't have to say this, but he did.
Alla fine, sai, so che ci saranno dei cambiamenti grossi e quindi se riescono anche a migliorare il motore si avvicineranno ulteriormente.
Ferrari has been granted the ADUO, which will allow them to develop the engine. Their car is already very fast, so if they manage to improve the engine as well, they will get even closer. Kimi Antonelli, Sky Sport F1 Italy. Read that again. The Mercedes driver is warning the world about Ferrari. The ADUO, Additional Development and Upgrade Opportunities, is the FIA's regulatory lifeline. Ferrari sits roughly 25 horsepower behind Mercedes. That gap put them inside the threshold. The FIA said yes. The upgrade is coming as early as the Canadian Grand Prix. But that's not all Ferrari are bringing, because in Miami, something bigger arrives first. Both Hamilton and Leclerc are heading to Monza on April 22nd, not to race, but to test. A revised floor, a B-spec Macarena wing, engine software revisions, weight reduction. Fred Vasseur called the Miami package a package and a half. That is not marketing language, that is a technical statement. But wait, because there's a reason the Macarena wing hasn't raced yet, and that story starts in Shanghai. Lewis Hamilton and Fred Vasseur bowling in Suzuka. Hamilton rolls, doesn't look, strike. Vasseur laughs. Hamilton walks away like he knew all along. Just let the footage breathe. That's the Hamilton of 2026. Loose, confident, back. Last year, there were no moments like that. There was radio tension. There was silence on cooldown laps. There was a 41-year-old man quietly wondering if he'd made the biggest mistake of his career. This year, no-look strikes with his team principal. The reset was real. China 2026. Ferrari finally brings the Macarena rear wing, the most talked about, most photographed, and least raced component of this entire season. One practice session, that's all it lasted. Hamilton enters turn 6. The front wing closes faster than the rear. In a fraction of a second, the aerodynamic balance shifts. Hamilton spins. The wing was removed before sprint qualifying. It has not been seen in competition since. But here's what you need to understand. That wasn't a design failure, it was a synchronization problem. The timing between front and rear wing closure under braking was off. Ferrari knew exactly what went wrong. The Monza filming day on April 22nd exists for one reason, to prove it's fixed. Monza's heavy braking zones from high speed into the first chicane directly replicate the conditions that caused Hamilton's Shanghai spin. If the closure timing holds at Monza, the wing races in Miami. Early data suggests gains of 5 to 10 kilometers per hour in straight line speed with the system active. At Miami, with 2 long straights, that number matters enormously. Here is Ferrari's problem in one sentence. Hamilton and Leclerc are bleeding time on every single straight, every lap, every race. Not because the chassis is slow, but because of superclipping. Ferrari's energy recovery is unbalanced, creating a power loss exactly where Mercedes is strongest. Japan made it worse. Hamilton was on the radio, frustrated, vocal, complaining about deployment. He finished 6th. He described the race as terrible. And when he crossed the line, silence, no celebration, just a man who knew exactly where the time was going and couldn't fix it from the cockpit. So Ferrari made a change that goes beyond the car. Cedric Michel Grosjean will take over as Hamilton's permanent race engineer in Miami. He spent 9 years at McLaren. He was the engineer behind Oscar Piastri's rise. He knows how to speak Hamilton's language: data, precision, and trust. After a 2025 full of tense radio exchanges and a famous having a tea break moment in Miami last year, Ferrari is rebuilding the relationship from the ground up. New engineer, new wing, new engine upgrade coming. Everything changes in Miami. Scenario 1. The Macarena works. The floor delivers. Miami is a turning point. Ferrari starts closing the gap race by race. By Canada, the 80UO engine arrives, and suddenly Russell and Antonelli are looking in their mirrors. Scenario 2. The wing fails again. Miami exposes another weakness. McLaren, now understanding the Mercedes engine, rises to second. Ferrari slips to third. Hamilton's contract year becomes his quietest. Scenario 3. Ferrari execute perfectly. Hamilton, with a new engineer, finally finds his rhythm at the Scuderia. One win, then another, and what Antonelli called inevitable, Ferrari closing in, becomes the story of the entire season. Can a new race engineer unlock the Hamilton that Mercedes knew for 12 years? Will the Macarena finally race, or fail again when it matters most? And when the 80UO engine arrives in Canada, does Mercedes' advantage disappear overnight? If you made it this far, you already know this season's not about who's fastest. It's about who survives the gap, the politics, the pressure, and the clock. So tell me, is Lewis Hamilton's no-look strike a symbol of a man reborn, or just the calm before the next storm?